Hey guys, this is going to be our first video that will feature a full build-up of a kit. This is a well-known Trumpeter Stalinetz tractor from which we have built quite a few. And this is the box. Shortly we're going to show you what's inside. The plan is to build the tractor with modified cab without the glasses. You'll see what I mean in the further development of the build. We're gonna make scratch built hooks and some additional features which you'll see once we get started. This is what we are gonna use: super glue, standard thin glue, sand files, tweezers, scalpel, clamps, and cutters, which probably we're gonna use a couple of more instruments, but this is gonna be our basic stuff because the kit is very nice and it doesn't need a lot of work. So hopefully this is gonna be start of a new series of a build-up followings, and we'll see how do you like the video once it's uploaded, and we'll decide further on. We're gonna start with the instructions as they follow. Working on the wheels. We're not gonna show you every little bit of everything, just in general to get the idea. An issue with the wheel, it doesn't fit properly, and in order to fit you gotta pre-glue it so it can go in. It often breaks the rings, as you can see, and the way to do it is to pre-glue everything to loosen it up and make it fit. This is kind of a tricky. If you follow the instructions, this is placed right after a little hooks are installed over it, but they tend to break up. That's why, as you can see, it's hard to be fit. We put the hooks afterwards. Here we have the hooks. Sorry, the instructions are upside down, but you get the idea. And they go here. As you can see, the fit is not so cleverly engineered. That's why it's best idea to fit it first and then add the hooks afterwards. As you can see, the fit here is not so good, but this is acceptable. We had the same trouble with all the tractors, and it's nothing to worry about. This is part of the chassis and it goes in the bottom, so that's not a big deal, even if the fit is not perfect. As you can see, we're continuing with this part here, F16, F7 and D6. We're preparing them. This thing is very important because it holds those two together in the bottom of the tractor, and the alignment is dependent upon that. So this thing here, you got to be very careful with it. All the parts prepared from step 4. It's kind of a tricky. That's the sequence we found out to be working the best. Then once dry, we're gonna fit this part, which is the bottom of the engine, last. Not like it's showed on the instructions, but from the other side around. I'm gonna just put it into place and glue it. We have assembled most of the chassis. These two, we added this and this to not waste any more air time. We're gonna continue with the radiator right now. It is prepped for gluing, cut off from the spruce. Nothing important about it, simple. The fit here is great. The weather is warm, so as you can see, only a touch of the super thin glue and it holds it into place. Unfortunately, this is not visible from inside, but Trumpeter did a clever job with it because they allowed an aftermarket engine to be placed in, which is available as a resin aftermarket part. As you can see, nothing complex. Before the final assembly, I want to show you something. As you can see, Stalinetz and Slavic the N here, it's backwards. So this is a mistake that unfortunately Trumpeter did during the engineering. But that's nothing important, I believe. As you can see, the radiator is almost ready. Easy job. We're continuing with the sprockets. This is one of them built. It is built from these parts. These parts are with decent fit and they do not require a lot of extra effort. They can be completed leaving the sprocket moving or glued. The other wheel here, the one we have already done, allows the sprocket to be glued into one place without worrying that the chain won't fit for any reason. It doesn't have teeth, and this allows us to glue the sprocket and fit the chain without, fit the track without any problems. Fitting the sprocket is easy. It does not require extra effort, especially if you pre-glue it a bit. Here we have a couple of small parts added up here and back there. One of the sprockets, as I mentioned, is movable, the other one is not, but there isn't an actual difference. Now we're gonna fit the skis with the wheels that hold the trucks. Now the other. It requires a bit of effort, but that is the most hard part of the fit of the tractor itself. And this is it, the chassis is completed. We are doing the plate which holds the pedals and the handles. We are doing it like this because it has parts from both sides, and this make it easy to use something like that or something similar, just to allow you to work from up and down simultaneously. Now we're gonna fit it, the handles, and we're gonna go to the fuel tank and fit the hood with the radiator and side panels of the engine too. Continue with the fun part. We're gonna modify the hood. We're gonna cut it, sand it, and we're gonna scratch build something else from it without the windows and with some evergreen plastic. Have the hood prepared, sanded, cut from this part here, and we're gonna use evergreen L-shaped plastic, and we're gonna maintain the same size of the original hood, which is around 4 centimeters. We're gonna mark it, cut it, glue it, and you will see how it will look afterwards. These are the pre-cut L-shaped plastic, 4 centimeters each. We're gonna use a plastic sheet from which we're gonna cut the standing points for those 4 centimeters L-shaped sticks. That way we can paint it separately, not glue it immediately, but after the tractor is painted. That will leave us with an option to make it in different color, like it was in the reality. The plates are ready. Here's how we do it. And this is it. After a couple of seconds, it stays. Here we have glued the bases, and we're gonna use another L shape to keep them apart because they tend to close. We're gonna add struts to a rear part to hold everything into place. It's a bit tedious job, but when it's glued, it stays there and everything is stiff enough. From a tubular evergreen, we cut some rivets, and we used some of the rivets of the original hood to simulate the connections between the L shape and the hood itself. We skipped most of the rivets. They're already placed, but we don't want to bore you with each and every one of them. This is how we do each rivet. We want to pre-glue the surface, cut it, place it, and after a few seconds glue it again. And this is it. We have a lot of rivets. It simulates the real thing, and once primed, you won't be able to tell the difference. Last scratch build process, we're gonna drill 2 holes with a drilling tool. The Mia has one called pin vise. This is something else, but it does the same job. We're gonna drill these holes, and we're gonna put this metal rod bent in 90 degrees, into it, super glue it, and that will be it with the building. We're gonna put some super glue onto the hook, put it in the hole, which is drilled with the same diameter. Takes a little bit effort to be installed there. Once inside, it's easy to be aligned. Okay, this is the built tractor with the hood. The chimneys will be added later, as well as eventually some other builds. This is the final step we're gonna show you how to do. These are the tracks They're made from 3 parts each, and we need to do 30 something per track length. I'm sorry. So we have prepped several. This is how it's done. And this is how they go together. They're clickable and movable. We're gonna skip the whole process of building the whole length to save some air time for the subsequent weathering techniques, painting and so on.